Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Robert L. Wilson Jr. and I'll be your facilitator today. I want to talk to you about SMART goals. Well, Robert, why do we want to talk about SMART goals? Well, I'm glad you asked. One of the reasons I want to talk to you about SMART goals is that I've had a lot of conversations recently around people taking action and really setting goals and fulfilling those goals into results and outcomes. One of the challenges that some of these conversations have presented when I had these conversations with folks is that not being clear on their goals, not being clear on what they want to be, what they want to do, and what they want to have. So I really wanted to take time and space and opportunity to first explain what SMART goals are and how to use them, and then also how they can help you to actually accomplish and achieve what you want. No one wants to start out on a journey and not get to the destination or the to see reap the results and rewards of that journey. But what I found is there are a lot of people who say they want one thing or another, and then what actually happens is not actually attaining or achieving that goal. So I really want to take time and opportunity. It's going to be a short conversation, but time and opportunity to go over SMART goals. Also, if you're like Robert, I want more information or tools and resources. I actually have some new tools coming out regarding SMART goals, both in terms of using them and learning how to write your own SMART goals, and then also a SMART goals progress tracker to track the progress you're making on the goals that you set for yourself. Look forward to checking out some of those resources. They will be in the description of the video for those of you who are interested in that, or also reach out to me if you have more questions, you want to make comments, or looking for additional information regarding SMART goals. Okay, so let's kind of dive into that today. All right. Again, I'm Robert Wilson for those who are new to the channel. And in this space, we're going to take time and opportunity to talk about using SMART goals and what they are and what that might look like, and some things to take in consideration as you are developing your goals. So, first of all, Robert, when we use the acronym SMART, what does it stand for? Well, I think that's a great space to begin. SMART goals is an acronym for the S is for specific, the M is for measurable, the A is for achievable, the R is for relevant, and the T is for either time specific or time oriented. Again, the S is for specific, the M is for measurable, the A is for achievable, the R is for relevant, and the T is for time oriented or time specific. And I'm going to go through each of those 5 steps to kind of review with you what they are and what they entail. So, first, specific. What does that mean? Yes, I know as folks are like, well, Robert, it means be specific. I think it's a couple of things to take in consideration as we're being specific. This is where I actually find folks have a lot of challenges because a lot of people, when you ask them what they want, they'll say, well, I'm pretty clear on it. But if you start asking questions regarding how specific they are, sometimes they're not as specific as they think they are. So, for instance, the more detailed and descriptive you are, the better. What do I mean? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to have? Who, right? Who do you want to be? Who are you trying to reach? If you have a business, you're an entrepreneur, who are you serving? Where, right? Why? How? It's really important as you are developing your goals to ask yourself these questions. And let me give you some grace here. What if you don't know the answer? No worries. That's why you're actually being specific. The more you can be detailed and descriptive, the better it's going to be for you to think about what you actually want to achieve. You can't achieve it if you don't know what it is. You can't set a goal for something that you don't even know what that goal is. So the first area of the SMART goal is to be specific. And if you have to go back and redefine it, do that. That's going to be really important and helpful. Also, revisiting this is going to help you as you set new goals, especially once you attain those goals that you're setting. Okay, so this is the first area. Be specific. Next, the M is for measurable. How will you measure it? What will determine if that goal has been completed or achieved? So, for instance, if I'm setting a goal of making more money, come up with a specific amount of money you want to make. And the measurable piece might be, when am I going to do this by? Am I going to give myself a month, 3 months, 6 months? Within the next year, I want to make X amount of dollars. Within the next year, I want to be at this particular weight, if it's a weight goal, or if it's a goal in terms of school or education. I want to be this much closer to my degree. Be specific in terms of how you will measure it, right? You want to give yourself something tangible. Why is that helpful? Because if I give myself something tangible in terms of measuring it, it helps me to be able to track my progress. So being able to measure it within a month, I want to see this based on that goal. Okay, so the S is for specific, the M is for measurable. The A is achievable. Is this something that a word I like to use is this doable? Is it realistic? Is this something I can actually achieve? You say, well, Robert, why is that important? Because sometimes people will set goals that are so far fetched that they can't achieve them. Now, hear me on that. I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade or being a dream snatcher or anything like that. But sometimes people will set a goal that is not achievable. And so they set themselves up not for success, but in some regards for failure. And so they don't work toward their goal. Um, so a lot of times when I'm setting goals, is it something that I can achieve? Is it something that I have the abilities to do, the capacity to do? Um, does it actually connect to what I want to be, do, or have? All right. Sometimes folks will set up a goal and it has nothing to do with what they're trying to attain. So that's a big part of this as well. Um, do you have the ability for it? Do you have the capacity for it? Like, say, for instance, one of my goals was to be a life and wellness coach, which I am. But in order to do that, I knew I had to get some training or certification to do that. So to say I'm going to be a coach and not necessarily have a goal to work on that may not necessarily be realistic or achievable, right? There was a skill set I had to develop in order to do that. So just being mindful that what you're doing is achievable. And if you don't have the capacity, can you develop that skill? Can you develop that capacity? Can you develop that ability to do that? Okay. So achievable. The R is for relevant. Is this what you want or what you think you can have? I want to slow down here. Relevant. Is it what you want or what you think you can have? Sometimes what I've noticed is that people will set goals based on what they think they can actually not only achieve, but what somebody else might want for them. It's okay to have big goals. The thing is it relevant and is it consistent to what you want to be, do, or have? That's the question. Is it something that I want to do, or is it something that people are telling me I should do? Sometimes we don't reach the goals we want because we don't even want those goals, right? So being mindful of what it is you actually want to be. Like, for instance, I'm an entrepreneur. Some folks don't want to be an entrepreneur. They would rather be an employee and work for someone else. And there is no judgment in that if that's what you want. So for you to set a goal to start your own business and that's not what you really want, that's not going to be relevant. And therefore, it's going to cause challenges with you actually accomplishing that goal. The last one is time specific. Um, by when will you accomplish this goal? One thing I will kind of share that's a good best practice, don't put it too far out, because the more you can push that goal away, the less commitment you'll make to actually fulfilling that goal. Set a time and date. Well, Robert, what if I set a time and date and it doesn't happen by that time? No worries, set another time and date. At least you're working toward it. It gives you something to work toward. Commit to the time and date and avoid changing it, because sometimes when you change it, you just push it off. Then it really, your commitment level uh, is not really high. And so it gives you a way out. And if it gives you a way out, sometimes you won't even work toward it or stay the course or be persistent in it. So set a time. So that's SMART goals. Be specific, measurable. The goal needs to be achievable, relevant, and set a time specific to when you actually will accomplish that goal. So, what are your next steps? I'm glad you asked. So, when will you start? So, I want you to think about the goals or the SMART goals, this acronym, and what goals do you want to work on for yourself? When will you start? When will you end? Will you break down the steps in bite-sized chunks? And how will you do that? I know for me, I try not to overwhelm myself by coming up with such big goals. Or if I do have a big goal, I'll break it down maybe within maybe 30 days to 3 months to 6 months to 9 months to a year, or then I can go out to 5 years or 3 years, or what have you. However, for me, it works better knowing myself. I'll take more action if it's broken down in bite-sized chunks. Part of setting yourself up for success is what resources or tools do you need to accomplish your goal. Sometimes people will set up a goal and they don't have actual the resources, right? So, like for instance, I told you I wanted to be a coach. Well, part of the resource was finding a program where I can get certified. And then I started thinking about what tools did I need as a coach. So I started looking at some of the different resources for me. If for those of you who are familiar with NLP or neuro linguistic programming, I got certified in that. For me, I got trained in mindfulness. So I wanted to add those things to my coaching so that I can help people to reach uh, their goals and be the best version of themselves. And I felt like those were tools and resources and my goals that could help. So that wasn't something that I had. So for me, I had to identify where could I get those resources or the skills that I needed. So that kind of goes into the next question: what skills do you need, or do you possess those skills? And if you don't, how can you build upon that? Now, here's something that I think sometimes folks don't look at, and I think it's important to have an awareness. Not that it should stop you, but what are your obstacles or your challenges? Sometimes there will be obstacles. Think about how you'll handle them. Think about being resourceful and being resilient and being proactive instead of reactive. Um, what are the obstacles that you might face in order to obtain a goal? This helps you to build your persistence, right? Because it takes persistence to accomplish our goals. And then wait for it. How will you celebrate when you've accomplished your goal? That becomes really important. I noticed a lot of folks have problems celebrating themselves. They can celebrate other people, but not themselves. So, as you are on your journey to working towards your goals, what will you do to celebrate yourself or your accomplishments? That's really important because it also encourages you to reach more goals and to continue to set new goals and go further. Okay, so I hope this was helpful in terms of thinking about what your next steps are going to be. Like, what action are you going to take? So, well, Robert, why are you talking about what action? I thought the goals would get me to action. No, the goals is your framework for you to take action. You actually take action by actually implementing those goals and actually uh, putting things into actual practice. And you say, well, why is that important? Because I know a lot of people get stuck on the planning part, but never take it to action. You want to put things in action, put things in motion, gain some momentum so you can actually reach your goal. Now, for those of you who come to the channel, you know, my four areas of focus are personal, professional, leadership, and organizational development. Those are the 4 areas in which I work in. Those are the 4 areas in which I provide products, programs, and services in. How can I use SMART goals if I'm either working on something personally, professionally, in my leadership or organization? So personally, what do you want to do to be the best version of yourself? What area or areas do you want to improve, change, or create? This is where you can use SMART goals. Now, professionally, one of the things that you might want to think about is what would you want to do to up level yourself professionally, right? What are your goals? How will you cultivate and develop your skill set? Because the more skill set that you have, the better you can market yourself, the better you can upgrade yourself, and the better you can expand yourself, right? In your leadership, what are your goals as a leader, and how will you enhance your leadership practices? What does that look like? Right? You can't lead people beyond where you are. Again, you can't lead people beyond where you are. So, how will you use SMART goals to develop yourself as a leader? And then, organizationally, how will you develop your employees and workers? How will you improve and create the best workspace environment and culture? So, these are things that we want to think about in implementing what we just learned or what we just talked about with SMART goals in your personal, professional, leadership, or organizational development. If you're like, Robert, I need more strategies, techniques, or specifics, reach out to me. Again, this is a work I do. This is a work I love doing, and this is a work I love helping people to do. So, development is a huge part of what I do in both education and training services, products, and programs that I provide. Okay. Again, thank you for stopping by. Like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.